Hi, this is Chris, ZL1 CVD. Just want to talk to you about CatMeters. This is a very similar to the CatDisplay, same housing, and it plugs into the back of your one of the modern Yaesu transceivers. In this instance, I've got it plugged into a FTDX10, and it goes into the RS232 port here. So you can still use your transceiver with your computer using the USB ports, and so that is similar with the likes of the 991A, the FTDX101, and many more of the modern Yaesu transceivers. So let's have a quick look at what CatMeters do. Well, first of all, one of the things I do a lot of FT8, and I wanted to be able to set up the ALC and my output power and check SWR all at the same time. And then when I'm using single sideband, I want to see that my equalizer and mic gain is set correctly, so I want to have a look at compression. So with this one display I can see all that. So if we just do a quick tune, this will show you some of the display in action. Okay, there we can see it actively showed SWR, the current drawn, ALC, power output, and we didn't see much in the way of compression. And of course you've got an S meter up here. There's a bunch of really good indicators down the bottom of the display which show things like your shift, width, notch, APF and contour. Some of the transceivers have that on the screen, but in the likes of the 991A it doesn't have that on the screen. You can't visually see it, so if I was to go in here, for example, and select change our mode to upper sideband, and if we go and adjust our shift, I'm adjusting shift here, we can see visually the shift moves. Same for width, if I adjust width, it moves as well. Okay, other features, when I'm using the DX10 to access things like mic equalizer and that, I have to press a button and turn things off and on. So what I've done is I've put some of those indicators up here. So if we turn the mic equalizer off, we can see that MEQ went away from being green. Might be a bit hard with the light that I'm in. Okay, so we can see that changes there. The same goes for most of the indicators. We can see that here if we press the lock button, the lock goes on and off. And what else? Oh, well, all of these indicators do that. Tuner, tuner off and on. And of course on the main screen we've got access to things like attenuator. Rather than show the dB, because not all the Yaesus have dB in their cat commands or support dB, they either have attenuator off or on, this only shows off or on. So it's not going to show you that you've got 6 or 12 or 18 dB selected. That's very model specific. Other things that are model specific is date and time. Some of the modern Yaesu transceivers don't have date and time, so of course you're not going to see that on the screen. And there may be a few other things to do with these indicators that you won't see on the screen if the model doesn't support it. But this has been pretty well tested on the FTDX101, FT991A, and the FTDX10, and everything is all working. I've tried to also group things like AGC sits at the top here, that we can see that AGC set to also. So if you're monitoring the S meter and you're wondering why your S meter is not working, oh, I've got AGC turned off. And again, that indicator is green when it's on, or if I was to turn AGC off, that indicator will go, I don't know if you can see it. Oh yeah, that indicator goes white. So if we push AGC back on, put it to auto, it goes green and then goes auto. We have here also on the compression, which the things that affect your signal compression when you're transmitting on sideband is obviously your mic gain and the processor level. Here we can see processors turned off. Mic gain is always turned on, so that will always be green, but we can see processors turned off. So if we go back to our menu here and we go we have activated processor on and if we turn the multi-function knob here, we will see that now processor has gone green. Okay, we'll just flick our mode here over to it's annoying, isn't it? Go to sorry, I'm looking at the screen through a camera and it's making it a bit more difficult. Right, so we can see when we transmit, is it transmitting? No, it's not transmitting because I've knocked we'll just go hit band, we'll go to 28990, okay, fine, we're transmitting now. You can see there that turn the tuner off. We're on sideband, so we want mode to be FM. Okay, we want a carrier coming out for this test. Okay, and we can see here that we're showing clearly the current draw, and we're seeing the ALC action, and we're seeing our SWR is not that good. It's just my antenna, and we can see the relative power output. We can see in the indicator in the in here that I've set it to 10 watts. So if I change that to RF power, set our function knob to RF power, we go up here, and as we change the wattage, changes on the display. So we want that back out to 10 watts. Okay, so, and then of course if we put our tuner back on, turn our tuner back on, we will see that comes up in green, and our SWR should be a heck of a lot better now with the tuner on, which it is. Okay, now these little numbers in here, these are the numbers that the CAT system, so the CAT is the computer system within the transceiver. It sends serial data to the CatDisplay. So these little numbers in here are accurate from the radio, right? Now this is assuming that the radio is freshly aligned and someone hasn't been tinkering with it. We haven't had a screwdriver expert in there. So those numbers will reflect what the Yaesu, what's set from the Yaesu factory. Now, what I've found with testing through various radios and that is that these are amateur radios. They are not lab test equipment like a Roden Schwartz analyzer. So the meter readings, all the meter readings on it are indicators only. They are not definitive. So if you're looking at exactly how many dBm, well, you really have bought the wrong transceiver for that. You wouldn't buy a Yaesu or a Kenwood or an ICOM for that. None of those transceivers, even the best ham radio transceivers, aren't going to give you accurate like S-meter readings like you're going to get from an EMI receiver, a Roden Schwartz EMI receiver, or a Booton similar receiver. They are calibrated instruments. This is an amateur radio, and as such, your metering, all the metering on it is indicative, which is really what you're paying for. Great radios, packed with features, the most sensitive receiver I've ever had in a transceiver, this particular one. But yeah, it's still a ham radio. So what does it come with? So getting back to CatMeters, CatMeters comes like this. It comes with a cable to connect to your serial port, an instruction sheet, and a little power adapter for the end. Now, the little power adapter gets you up and running. Really what you need is a DC 2.1mm cable, a DC cable with 2.1mm plug, sorry. But the thing is, how long do you want it? You know, you want it 1 meter, the next person wants it, you know, half a meter or 2 inches or whatever. So all I've done at the moment is just provide you this so that you can screw in your, it's marked a negative and positive on it. You can screw in your own power cable into it and get it up and running. But eventually I would think you'd want to be buying your own little 2.1mm DC plug and soldering your connections onto it and making a more permanent connection. But this will get you up and running. The cat cable, just RJ45, just plugs in the end here, and the other end goes straight onto the transceiver. The transceiver's got to be set to 38400, which is described on this page here, and this is the settings and power requirements discussed here, and the settings are all based on an FT991A, so you're gonna, if you've got a different transceiver, you're gonna have to look at that. And finally, for those who have purchased already CatDisplay 232, you can actually upgrade that to CatMeters. It's the same hardware, it's just a different program running on it, and it will require you to either purchase a programmer yourself, and you'll contact me, and if you purchase from me, you'll know how to contact me, and I will send you through the firmware for it. And finally, CatKnobs works with CatDisplay 232 or CatMeters. You can't have both of them on the one transceiver. There's no pass-through port on the actual metering or the CatDisplay side. The pass-through port is only on the CatKnobs. Alright, well thanks very much for watching my short video, and cheers.